Hey, Kush, how did placement? My bad. I'm kind of over here on the edge.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Your boy Kevin Thornton. We're tuned in to the Wellness Architect Show. Today is Monday, March the 2nd, 2020. It's a rainy Atlanta day, and the traffic is crazy. So we got two more brothers coming in for the men's roundtable discussion, and we do have a lovely lady here to my right. You know, I have a female co-host by the name of Lois Richey, so she's out of town. So we have her to come and ask questions from a female perspective that she wants the men to answer, and she wants you guys to be as authentic as possible.
Please.
Bring the funky.
Sir.
I'm gonna be good.
Oh, okay.
Bring the funky.
Always.
So you know how it's gonna be. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go around, everybody introduce themselves, tell me who you are, what you do, and how people can reach you. So we're gonna start with Mr. Terrell out of South Carolina. Tell me.
Hey, how everybody doing?
Good evening.
Tell me who you are, what you do, and
It's kind of delayed. This is my first time on here, so it's kind of a delay, so y'all work with me. My name is Terrell Hagood. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. I am a youth empowerment coach. I am a life coach. I am a pastor, and I am a prophet.
Nice.
I stand on the word of God. I don't not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I'm just glad to be here tonight. You can reach me on everything that's out there, Periscope, whether it's Facebook, one-on-one coaching SC. That's my tag, that's my brand. Me and my lovely wife, we operate up under that banner. And we also operate up under Future and the Hope Ministry. So you can reach me in all those outlets on every platform.
all right. And next we're gonna go to Mr. Tracy Washington out of Virginia.
Hey everyone, how y'all doing? I'm Tracy Washington. Just like you said, I'm currently residing in Virginia, originally from Albany, Georgia. I'm the CEO and founder of the United Crowns Collection, clothing collection online, and also the founder of the Forum of Kings and Forum of Queens. It was actually a Facebook social group. You can reach me at info.unitedcrowns.com, and it's good to be here.
All right, brother. Monk.
I am Music Monk ATL. You can find me at Music Monk ATL. Yeah, and I'm here. I got a lot, man. My anxiety high, man. Like riding in Atlanta. Now for real, like riding in Atlanta with like bad weather and
It's
bad
crazy
traffic.
out here in these streets.
Man, but hey, I'm gonna settle in quite nicely. Give about 3 more minutes.
I got you. Shane.
What's up? My name is Shane Harold. I am a spin cycle instructor for LA Fitness. I live in Atlanta/Conyers. I'm from Orlando, Florida. So we'll bring a little Florida swag to this panel tonight.
And our lovely co-host.
Oh, hi, I'm Tangy Spicy, but Miss Spicy if you nasty. How you doing? I am on the Status Network for Snap Judgment. I also am on IG, Tangy Spicy, and you can definitely follow me. I do YouTube, Tangy For Real. I direct music videos, and I write as well. Hit me up.
All right. So we do, as everybody knows, we do a men's roundtable discussion every month. And we've been doing a lot of stuff about the black men with the millennials and the baby boomers and all that. But this time we've been asked to do something about relationships. So the first question that I want to ask to the fellas is, do you think that with the fathers not being present, that has affected how some men are, how they act and be in relationships? And I'll start with Tracy first.
Hey, repeat the question again. It kind of blurred out when you said.
With the fathers not being present in a lot of the young men's lives, has that affected how they are and how they operate in relationships with women?
Absolutely. Personally, I think that when the father's away from home, or not, well, let's just say a significant father figure is not in the home, it directly affects it, because young men, when they're growing up, that's the person they look to understand how to treat a woman, what a relationship is supposed to be like. They learn the specific roles of a man and his roles in that relationship as well too. So I think not having that father in the home or a strong male figure that child can look up to, it definitely affects the way they view relationships.
All right. Mr. Terrell, what you think, sir?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the absentee of the father in the home, it brings about a trauma coming out the gate with the child. So I believe that the father not being in the home, or either like my man say, a role model or a father figure that's in the home, it brings a level of insecurity, not a faulty identity with them not knowing who they are. So I believe that I'm up under the impression that it is something that the father not being in the home.
All right, Shane.
I agree. I agree with everyone, but to a certain extent, at some age, at some point, like if you're 40 years old, you cannot use that same excuse to my see my father as a child.
Big fact.
You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. So now in your 20s, I agree because my father was not there. I was raised by a single mother, just me, only child. But it does affect you, especially when you're young. But now as you get in your 30s and your 40s, you can't keep using that same excuse saying, well, my father was there. I don't know how to be romantic. I don't know how to tell you I love you. Yeah. Just like you want somebody to treat you a certain way, you got to treat them a certain way. If you like to be loved, that woman likes to be loved.
Come on now.
That's just how it goes.
All right, Mom.
Only child style. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah,
Came through with it, man. I mean, you guys have pretty much touched on a no-brainer. I mean, yeah, there are definitely going to be consequences, and there's going to be some residual effects. But I also believe that you have to have something innately within yourself to want to be better, to want to know. Like, you don't have to have lived in a mansion to know that mansions exist.
Exactly.
You don't have to have driven a nice car to know that they exist. So you have to use your eyes and say, hey, what I didn't have is not the totality of me. But let me go ahead and try to figure, you know what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and try to figure this thing out. Now, is easier said than done? In some ways it is. But I think a lot of times we are victims of our own emotions. And we'll kind of get trapped into some things and say, oh, woe is me. So
That's good.
So the next question is going to be a killer.
Oh, okay.
So the question came from a young lady, and she wants to know whether if she's married and her husband is no longer can no longer perform sexually.
Yikes.
You know, we all know that if you have high blood pressure, you're taking the medication for high blood pressure, or even diabetes. Your man don't function.
At what age? What is he?
He's in his 40s, like us.
Okay, his wife is in his 40s.
Yeah.
Or younger.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he can't function, so she's at this place right now, and he's not doing anything health-wise to try to get better. So now she's frustrated, so she wants to...
How long has it been that way?
5 years.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, she already got somebody.
I ain't better to do it.
So she wants to know, is it okay to ask for a hall pass?
No, that's disrespectful, first of all, because y'all in the union, okay? Y'all in the union, and it shouldn't be a hall pass. I mean, there are toys.
Oh.
There are hands. You can still use your mouth, because that still work, right? Okay? You can do extra stuff, but stepping out of a marriage, I don't think it should be your best bet. Now, if the couple agrees to it, float on.
But she never brought this to his attention.
She need to use that mouth along with that communication. How you feeling?
This is a good one. Yeah.
she's already asking for forgiveness as opposed to permission.
You think she already left?
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, you have to, like, our bodies are going to change as we get older, right? You know, working out, drinking water, meditating, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to, you have to do this thing. You have to do these things. But if you are under some sort of medication and it's affecting you, and your partner can only complain, I just, you know, it's funny to me, you know, like if he's going through something physically with his body, it's like she's ready to, you know what I'm saying? She's ready to explore other options. But if they had kids and her body changed and she lost her libido, then he would be, you know, he would be charged with a, you know, with a stronger duty to be there for her. So I'm just like, at what point does the balance shift? You know what I mean? So if she has an issue with it that bad, then is she motivating him in a loving way within that union to get him? Because it ain't just the fact that that he's suffering from ED. Like, that high blood pressure is a situation where he could drop dead. He could have a stroke. So you more concerned about getting your rocks off than you are in terms of preserving this man's legacy and
really
order. Right, exactly. And that's my point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's my point. And I get 5 years is a long time.
Long time.
But
Without getting your stuff.
but at the same
I need
time,
it.
but are there other emotional
Facts.
things going on? What else is going on in his life? You know what I mean?
But he did say that he was not trying to stay healthy.
Does she say thank you
About
anything? Does she show appreciation in a way that makes him feel, and you know what I'm saying, that makes him feel like he can do it? You know what I mean? What's the point of being in this union? You know what I mean? Until the union no longer benefits you, now it ain't a union no more. It's
so both of them
both
need to
of them,
work on it.
both of them need to work on it. Both of
yeah.
them need to work on it. But you don't need no hall pass.
No. Keep that penis.
I got
One
you
of them.
ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I hold on for a second.
Mr. Terrell, what's your thoughts, sir?
Well, my thoughts is that first of all, I'm gonna have to evaluate that foundation. What's the foundation of that marriage? Surely you didn't just get married just for sex. So
Right.
we need to look at the foundation and find, why did I marry this individual? Is she compatible to me? Am I compatible to her? Because as my man just said, our bodies do change. And since we're aware that our body do change, we should know that going into the marriage. And that anything could happen. But you know, when they made those vows, when they took those vows, I'm quite sure they probably had some vows that was just universal vows through sickness and through health. So we have to analyze that and really just see am I in that marriage? And so if my foundation was right, if it don't work no more, hey, we're gonna have to find other methods on how we're gonna have to get back and how we're gonna get through. And I agree with her. I mean, you know, there's other ways to explore, you know, inside the bedroom. There's other ways to explore.
Now.
But I wouldn't step outside of it. I wouldn't step outside of the boundaries with my spouse.
All right. Tracy?
You know, and I agree with everybody on the panel, because I think once you start to, you know, go outside the bounds, giving hall pass, that relationship's over anyway. And just for the mere fact of her kind of asking the question, it makes me wonder what's the communication like in that relationship, because that's going to be the foundation of any relationship that you get into. And what is she expressing to him? What is he expressing to her? And not only when you talk about ED, it's not only just a physical thing, but it can also be a mental issue that's going on as well too. That's causing that ED as well. So I just have a hard time with people saying, you know, just automatic, can I get a hall pass? And, you know, he won't do anything about it. I think they really need to get to the root cause of what's going on in that relationship. And if not, it's just like Ms. Spicer said, you know, there's other ways to explore it. There's other options. If they don't come to that, it's time to move on.
All right. Shane.
Well, been there, done that.
Oh, okay.
Had high blood pressure. When I moved to Atlanta, they switched my medication. You know what I'm saying? Now, every man knows when you wake up in the morning, you wake up with an erection. Okay, that didn't happen for about a week. When I noticed that, I went to my doctor. Because the first thing I did was Google this medicine here because it was new to me. First thing came up was ED, it would cause ED. That was the first thing came up. So what I did, I went to my doctor, I switched the medicine out. Been fine ever since. But I think what we're missing here is people saying, well, did they talk? But what they didn't hear you say is it's been 5 years.
That part.
Okay, 5 years, 5 years. Ain't no man gonna wait 5 years to have sex, and no woman gonna wait 5 years. It's just facts. Most people don't want to hear facts. I'm gonna tell you like it's blood raw. That's just what it's gonna be. 5 years, you telling me this man has not had sex with that woman.
I ain't touched nothing.
And they did nothing.
Yeah.
Now you can only use toys for so long. You can only use the mouth for so long. You know, at some point you want to be penetrated. Excuse my French.
Period.
But that's just what it's gonna be.
It ain't even French.
5 years, exactly. 5 years is a problem in any relationship. I don't care if you've been together, married 20 years, but 5 years is a problem. Now, yes, you need to discuss it. What's causing it? Is it the blood pressure medicine or is it something else?
You don't like me no more?
Do you still turn me on? But at 5 years, somebody turned her on. I can guarantee you that. He may not be doing it, but somebody turned the light switch on. But when she go home, it's off.
Oh.
Facts. Facts.
Flip. All right.
See, that how folks die.
My special co-host.
That folk be
out
out here dying.
for the fellas.
For the fellas. Okay. I've been in this situation personally. Met a guy, give me all this attention. Oh, you're beautiful. dates, courting, and I cook, so I cook for him, hey, do you need this in your life? Da da da. I'm just a giver, and I want to give him back. Okay. So we finally said, hey, let's be exclusive. Boom, it stops. Now what is that?
Hold on.
He stopped.
Were we done with this? Were we done with the ED?
Right. Hey.
I'm just
Everybody spoke on it.
Yeah, everybody spoke.
Okay.
So you saying
As soon as we were committed, we saying let's do this relationship. There was the affection started going away. No more kissing. No more dating. No affection. What's that?
You were seeing each other.
The
Now, when
representative?
you guys came to a committed relationship,
Yes.
were you living together?
That time.
Okay. Now,
Because this is
I
round
touch
two.
on it. I touch on it now, and not saying that it's an excuse,
Yeah.
but maybe seeing you on a daily basis.
Too easy. I was too convenient.
Too convenient for him. I go with that for now.
Okay.
Seeing you on a daily basis, maybe he felt like he didn't have to. Some men feel
Work so
like
hard.
once they have you, I got you. I don't need to do anything else.
Lies.
But we all know that's false. You know what I'm saying? I feel like even though you got her, you can continue like, as if you just did.
I didn't stop cooking. I didn't stop back rubbing and stuff like that.
Exactly.
You feel me? But I didn't get no affection. Who wants to stay around in a loveless or unaffectionate type of person and loving relationship that's not having love? I don't want to stay in that.
Exactly.
Just like the no sex. You licking something.
Now, 5 years all day.
Come on.
All day.
Do something.
What's your thoughts?
Hey, Tangy.
Yes.
Could it be that that's who you are and that's who he was pretending to be to get you?
I believe it was a definite
That's why I
pretend.
stopped. See, you continue to go on with what you was doing because that's just who you are. He can only keep up the facade for so long.
Absolutely.
And after he got what he wanted, the facade fell out.
Oh, it was definitely a facade, some fakery, everything. That I do believe. And I thought things were going to change. That's why I was saying this is round two. So I went backwards and I knew I shouldn't. This is the ex, I knew, but I was hoping, I was praying for something different. And we thought it was going to be different.
How long did you put up with it?
It was like 2 months and I moved out.
You moved out.
Yeah, I sure did. I'm happy now. Thank God. Hallelujah.
What is your ideal man?
Ideal man. Definitely somebody that knows how to communicate. You got to be funny because I'm silly. Can you tell? Okay, all right. And somebody that does not mind going fishing or walk in the park, but does not mind commitment either, because there's a lot of open relationships, and I like one painters and one painters only.
We use adult words. It's okay.
Okay, but we got the
Now that
pastor out here.
guy he
You
was
feel-
living with, was see those things.
At first. And that's what I'm saying. Everything was good. But right when we like, okay, let's do this. We're going to make it work this time. And it just didn't work.
Who said let's do this?
He did.
He initiated it?
He pursued everything. And I said no for a good 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Like, I'm good. Because we were just friends. Oh, I heard a What's that? Y'all got something?
I'm just listening. I'm listening
What's your
because I'm not gonna assume, but I think I'm the youngest on the panel today. I gotta watch this guy. I gotta watch this guy right here. So one of the challenges that we face as millennials in dating is we don't really have, our culture doesn't really have a set of norms and customs and traditions when it comes to dating. So, some people take the religious route, some people take a little bit more progressive route, but either way, you definitely have to find out kind of what works for you in terms of communication.
Absolutely.
And it's really, really hard because courting, I hear courting a lot. I hear courting from people my
It's
age.
almost fictitious. Like,
That's
it's
not
fake.
because courting and dating, it doesn't mean forever, but the way we go about it, it insinuates it's a possessive type of thing. It's like, oh, you can't court me and you're courting someone else. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes people, I think the expectations pile up on people, and before they realize it, they don't really know how to say that there's either a lack of interest or they want to shift because people just give themselves will, and it's not about necessarily giving your body, but giving your energy, your gestures, your emotions. Like we tend to do this kind of haphazardly, You know what I mean? And I
Female or
learned.
male, yeah.
And yeah. I'm saying I said we.
Period.
Yes, yeah, we.
Yeah.
So I've realized in this short time on Earth that don't go back in the past, man, because that stuff will kill you.
Lesson learned.
It'll kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Tracy,
No
what's your
reverse.
thoughts?
I just want to ask, did you lay down what your expectations were? I know you say you were cooking, you were doing the back rubs, but did you lay down your expectations to him that, hey,
on a piece
this
of paper.
is what I need, and I got that you're doing it now, but later on, are you still going to continue to do these things? And if he kind of hesitated and was like, hey,
I think that he was trying to, what they say, save face. Like, I don't want you to go nowhere. I want you in my life. He said I was the biggest blessing because he has a bad temper. Now it was just no anger. Like, I did see the blessings and the change in the guy. And I stated I wanted different this time. No more less emotion, like just being weird. He was just weird. And we talked about it, and it wasn't one day. We talked about it for weeks. And then I said, okay, sure. You are showing the commitment, the conversation that's needed. And believe me, I'm not needy. I'm kind of guyish in a way. Like, I'm like, I want a little kissy here, but okay, go to your room. Like, you know what I mean? I want a little space. But at the end of the day, I wanted something real. And we don't hate each other or anything like that. It's just like, you're not for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think too, like, sometimes you just got to take folks for face value. I mean, we can sit up and pretend who we are, but when somebody shows you who they are, they can pretend for a little bit, but they're going to go back to that pattern unless they search themselves, do the work, and change their behaviors. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't take, that may take years for a man or a woman to change those behaviors. It's not going to just happen just because I want you back and I miss you, Yeah.
So, Mr. Terrell, I got a question for you to start you off, and then I let everybody else go around. So, is chivalry dead, or is it no longer required by the women? Mr. Terrell, you go first.
So is chivalry dead? Is it no longer required by the women? So the women, they don't want it anymore?
Yeah. Or they don't know what it is, so that therefore it's not required.
Well, I think as my man said, when speaking to the millennium, is that music? That's music monk, right?
Yep,
that's me. Yes, sir.
Speaking to him, he said the millennium, they really just don't know a certain pattern. I think that everything, the baton has been dropped. Everything that supposed to been passed on from us, it got dropped somewhere along the way. So therefore, the women are not in expectation for it. They're not even looking for it. Because it's been dropped. It's not even seen anymore. Only time it's seen now is with a couple that's over age, or 45 or 50. They don't see it amongst themselves. So I don't think that women even recognize it when it show up.
All right. Tracy, what's your thoughts, sir?
I think that's a tough one, but I tend to agree that, it's not being taught. And you don't know what you don't know. And then too, when I look at a lot of things and people say, music and things, music is powerful, and especially the images that come with music. And when you listen to the radio, you listen to, music videos, it's a reflection of what's, going on. And you don't hear that like when we listen to R&B back in the day about courting a woman and all those different things, all you hear now is, let me buy you this, buy you that, and I got this much money, and I'm gonna buy, and that's what it's all about. And I think, this young generation is kind of getting caught up in all of those things, whereas, in our generation, it was a tad bit different. But then I place that on us because we're the ones who are raising this millennial generation and Generation X. So we have to look at both of ourselves. How did we drop the ball? And then how do we pick that ball back up and teach our young men and women about relationships and courting?
All right.
So, chivalry, the medieval knightly system with its religious, moral, and social code. Knights, noblemen, and horsemen collectively, the combination of qualities expected of an ideal knight, especially courage, honor, courtesy, justice, and a readiness to help the weak. At the very bottom, courteous behavior, especially to that of a man towards a woman. I think that's probably our problem right there, because ain't nobody in here British. So we might want to. We might want to. We might want to. We might want to research what our ancestors were doing in the court in the mating process, because whenever we adopt European ideals, everybody get all confused because that's not who we are as a people. We aren't European. So let's find some more Afrocentric ideals of dating and courtship, and let's see how our indigenous selves respond to what we are to what we've naturally done over eons, as opposed to adopting systems of behavior that aren't naturally fundamental to us. It's almost like English for most people. Yeah, we're American, but it's still a target language.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I know you said earlier. You said you're the youngest one. What's your age? Not being just curious.
You ain't about to get me put.
Well, you say you.
I'm an '80s baby. That's
Okay,
all.
come
Yeah,
on,
I'm an '80s baby.
You an '80s baby.
Yes, sir.
Oh, but it doesn't matter. '80s, '90s. Chivalry. Okay, let's just take the word chivalry out, and let's just say knowing how to treat a woman. Now, my daughter is 18, and since I can remember, I've always opened the door for her. Car door. We go wherever store we go, try to open the door, and at this point, she expects it. She won't even touch the handle if I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how I raised her. You know, it has nothing to do with British or Asian, American. It's just showing a woman. See, I would like to raise
the definition.
No. Sorry, I'm just saying, take the word chivalry out.
Okay.
Let's take the word. When we say chivalry, we know what we're trying. You know what I'm saying? We're just saying about treating a woman. Chivalry, opening the car doors. If it's raining, you hold the umbrella. You know, something like that to let her know that basically what it is, you're the protector.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna show her, your daughter, how a man should treat you. Let's say you had a daughter. I don't know if you have a daughter, right? And she comes with her boyfriend. She wants you to meet him. Now this day you're gonna have a cookout at home, and they're bringing things. Okay. The guy gets out the car, knocks on the door. He leaves your daughter at the car to unload the car with the groceries. She bringing in cases of sodas, cases of water. What's your first thought?
I mean, there is no first thought, because I don't want him in my house.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because
what's your first thought?
That's not decent behavior, regardless of who you demonstrate that to.
It's not decent.
It's just not decent behavior
For him, for her.
So, but I want to ask you a quick question.
Go ahead. Go away.
So, in teaching your daughter, opening the door for her, which is wonderful, because I just do that off of GP.
Yeah.
Does your daughter reach over and unlock the door for the gentleman?
Well, she's not dating.
Are you teaching her?
No.
But are you whether or not she is or not? But are you teaching her to reciprocate?
She knows that.
To let someone know that she sees value in that behavior.
Yes.
That's a rarity.
Yes.
Because most women in the South
old school.
will absorb your resources and not put anything out. And what happens is that it turns people off, and they just like, well, I'm not gonna do it because I'm showing you all the value.
Yeah.
It's the Disney mentality. It's the Disney mentality.
Can I interject right there? And listen at this. Women are receptacles and men are depositories. We supposed to pour into the woman. We supposed to pour. There's an order that's coming. I'm not hearing that order. It's man, woman, and child. And that's the order. Once we get away from that order, as the man was saying, that if you see them coming in the room and the woman is carrying something, what you did was, and you just admitted that you said that us as millennials, we really just do so much.
Please don't misquote me. Cause that's I feel like the angle that you're taking, I'm not saying that I have a problem with any of this behavior. What I'm saying is that without I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's just the second time I've been misquoted, but it's okay though. I'll let you finish. I
didn't try to quote you verbatim. I just tried to paraphrase what you said. What I'm saying is, when someone brought something into the room, you easily deflected what the man, his point, what he was trying to give to you. You didn't want to receive at that moment what he was trying to say.
I agree with him though.
Continue to stand on what you stand. To say what you were saying is right. You're actually displaying the disconnect, because I didn't do any of that. I actually agree with him, because I display that behavior myself. But I wanted to ask him,
is the value system being reciprocated? And what I'm explaining to you is that the older generation has a do as I say, not as I do type of mentality. And the younger generation, we're going to ask questions. So when we ask questions, and just like I brought up actual information that the concept of chivalry is not native to our people, nobody could present to me what was actually native to our people. But you, again, begin to proceed to tell me about the natural order, with it being the man, the woman, and the child. And I get all of that, but that's still a Eurocentric model. The people that we come from an egalitarian people. We come from an egalitarian people, okay, but that concept has been stolen from us as we were stolen from our native land. So the egalitarian process means just what it is. There's equality, and it makes sense for that equality to exist. So for example, for example, in some of the native tribes, the women were the elders. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The women were the warriors. Some of the women were even the hunters. You know what I mean? So I get the natural order, but my daddy didn't give birth to me though. You know what I'm saying? My mother gave birth by way of my father and my mother coming together to create.
Manifest TV, Kevin speaking. How may I help you?
Freddie Chico in the building. What's going on?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Oh, you can call in.
I'm doing all right. I just want to give a quick shout out to my man Vaughn. He's holding it down. My man Monk, Music Monk. Mm-hmm. I just want to make this one comment. Chivalry is trash. Chivalry is only for females and a benefit for females, and that's the problem why most relationships don't work. As for this chivalry and this perspective on chivalry. So I agree with Monk. It's like, why do we even adopt that when it's so one-sided?
Okay.
No one can say what's a benefit for men.
What's his name?
What's your name, brother?
Freddie Chico.
I see you on Freddie Chico. Okay, now let's put the word chivalry to the side. Let's throw that to the side. Forget chivalry, because that has thrown us for a loop. Let's just say men knowing how to treat a woman, right?
Now, women know how to treat a man?
Okay, now listen. It seems like you ran into some bad relationships.
Thank you.
And maybe
that ain't got nothing to do with it.
No, because you keep saying, wait a minute, hold on. Let me respond to it.
Whatever you say is...
No, let me respond to it, because you're saying, you keep saying, do women know how to treat a man, and you got some that don't. Just like you got some men who don't know how to treat a woman. Mm-hmm. But the question to the panel was about chivalry, about a man treating a woman. Now, I understand what you're saying about being equal. If I open the door for you, okay, the car door, does she reach over to unlock it? Yes, I teach my daughter that. But at the end of the day, a man is supposed to be a man. You the king of your household.
What is a woman supposed to be?
The queen.
There's no rules for the woman what they supposed to do.
What's
There's about 10,000 rules for the guy.
What is a woman supposed to be?
For the girl.
Okay, explain to me, in your household, what is the role of your woman?
She's supposed to be virtuous.
To be my helpmate. But when you talk about a random person, like for a guy, he randomly can open up the door for a random woman. A guy can randomly carry some stuff for a woman. A man can randomly pull a chair for a woman. What does a woman do randomly for a guy?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Why would a woman?
Absolutely not.
Let's just take a 5-foot woman, and you got your big 6'6" behind. Why would she carry your groceries and you 6'6"? I don't understand that.
But that's not the only example, though. That's not the only example, though.
A woman, why would she be carrying your groceries?
But that's not the only example.
We teach that.
Carrying the groceries, that's not the only example.
We want to have all these rules for our young sons to treat the women, but we don't have no rules for the young women to treat the men.
And there's a lack of accountability.
And
there's a lack of accountability.
You can't cook it for no random guy. Now, if you're going to walk around and give you a bacon, egg, and cheese to every random dude you see, and you're going to do their laundry and put a light starch in the jeans, then, I stand corrected. But that ain't going to happen.
Wow,
Tracy.
I think too, and I agree with the brother when he said the word chivalry out. And I like to say common respect and courtesy for the person that you love. But what I will say is that, again, I go back to the younger generations. on the flip side of this, when we talk about women, I think the role, like when you hear stuff all the time, it's about being an independent woman, doing things for myself, ... I think that has had an effect on relationships because now women expect or say, well, I expect myself. And that causes problems in relationships. You see what I'm saying? And I think we need to get back to or somehow come up, like you say, what are the rules for a woman? What are the rules for a man? We need to lay that out in our own relationships. And if you have not laid those expectations out of your relationship, then your relationship is going to fail. That's simply all. Like, and then like the young man on the phone said, well, what is a woman supposed to do? You know, things like that. You know, it could be various things. Like my woman fixes my plate. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick too. You know what I'm saying? Go get it myself, but automatically goes and fix it. Like when things need to be done, automatically those things. You know what I'm saying? But I don't expect that's not her role. She does it because of love and admiration. It has nothing to do with these words chivalry. It's about respect for the other person and how I want it to be treated. If I call you my queen, that's how I'm gonna treat you. If you call me your king, then you treat me as such.
Okay.
Absolutely. Freddie, I
agree with you, Tracy.
Freddie, I do have a question for you. You still there?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful. My question is, what do you want? Because we're illustrating all these little things and tit-tats, but at the end of the day, me as a woman, I need to learn what you want. So what would you like? What would you want to receive?
And just to let the people know that I don't know that sometimes people who disagree with me, they come up with their preconceived notions of who I am.
Yeah.
Monk, let them know. I'm getting ready to celebrate 10 years of marriage.
Come on now.
I'm not some bitter, I hate women or whatever type of thing. But me and my wife are partners in this thing. I'm just trying to impress her over these 10 years, and she just appreciated it by saying thank you. No.
Absolutely.
She go hard just like I go hard.
And that's what I'm talking about. I wanted to ask what you want because I can't please everybody, but the man that I'm dating, I need to learn what he loves. And that's why you stayed 10 years. Come on.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah. And so, just I guess to answer your question, in this last year, birthday's in October, my wife treated me to a whole day of I didn't have to lift my finger for anything.
Yes.
She opened the door, she had my bag, but you know how many stank eyes I got from ladies who was downtown Atlanta, Marriott.
They don't know your love.
You know what I mean? Oh no, he needs to do that. Just like how, there's a dysfunction where, people celebrate Father's Day, Father's still working. Where we celebrate Mother's Day, it's a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely.
We don't believe in those types of stereotypes. It's like, she opened the door for me just as I opened the door for her. The only thing I would say is different is like, I am definitely the king, I'm definitely the protector of the house.
Yeah.
But everything else, like I said, if there's two doors, I'm opening one, she opening the other. It's not, she don't touch nothing, and I'm just like that old guy. I think y'all seen that video. Where
y'all rock
my
it
wife
out
don't
together.
have to do nothing. I just have to. She just has to enjoy the fruits of my labor, and that's what I have.
Freddie.
Freddie,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this: if you and your wife, this is his wife?
Yes, 10 years.
Your wife were riding, you had a flat tire. Who would change it?
We both would.
Oh man,
she could change the tire just like I could change the tire.
Oh, so you telling? I'm gonna ask you this: you telling me you would allow your wife to change the tire while you sat there and looked at her?
I have.
Oh, bye, Freddie. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Freddie. Freddie, that's bad, man. That's
Hey,
bad,
Freddie.
bro.
We love
Freddie, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's bad, brother.
You have yet to say.
Freddie, come on, man.
Hey, Freddie, when I have my daughter, I'm going to teach her how to change tires, too.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, teach her how to change tires. And she have by herself. But for a man to call my daughter, and I pull up and she changed the tire, I'm going to change her tire and leave him right there where he is. He can't get back in her car. Period.
But that's dysfunctional.
That's not dysfunctional.
I'm going to see what the problem is with that. And I'm going to give you an example of why that's a problem.
Go ahead. I got it.
Because I've dealt with people who are senior citizens, 67, 70-something years old. Their husband has done everything their whole life. Their husband passed. Now they're lost. They can't even figure out how to pay a bill.
Facts.
Because they have never done nothing in their whole life. So the purpose, because you didn't ask that, the purpose of me allowing my wife to do that Because when I'm not there,
Teach me.
no stank dude is gonna come up and like, hey, baby, let me help you change this diet.
I know your voice,
I
Freddie.
got this. Because she can change her diet.
I tell you what, when he come up and say, can he change that tire? You know what she gonna say? Yes, go ahead, please.
And
I bet she won't. You gonna change it?
And you know why?
bet she won't.
Because we don't teach accountability for women. We teach it for men, but we don't teach women accountability.
You know what I'm saying?
In a certain way.
You say Tracy?
They got 2 arms and 2 legs just like you do.
Hold on, chick. What you say, Freddie? Tracy?
Oh, no, I was saying, I agree with the brother on the phone to a certain degree because, I have a daughter. And I'm going to teach my daughter how to change a tire, how to change oil, how to do everything to support herself by herself. You know what I'm saying? In that aspect, she needs to do that. But I will tell you this, just because she knows how to do it doesn't mean she has to do it.
Exactly.
Because if my daughter married a man who would not get his sorry behind up out of the car to do it, then that's a problem.
Exactly.
Not that she doesn't know how to do it, but if you have somebody to do it, that's an issue. That's a real
because
issue.
at the same time, I'm asking you a question of like,
again,
if I go to your house and this young man is with this young woman who can't cook, you're gonna tell her, hey, you better get in there and learn how to cook?
No,
because we don't teach accountability for women. Like nobody has said nothing about holding a young lady accountable.
Okay, say you in a relationship. You chose to be in a relationship, right? Hold on, Freddie.
You chose to be used, Freddie. Now remember that. Now
let's say, okay, you got into a relationship with a woman who can't cook. You already knew she couldn't cook.
That's a problem.
Okay,
right?
So why tell her to go in the kitchen if you already knew she couldn't cook? You get in there.
But that would be the same instance if a guy can't change a tire. Oh, he ain't
but
good.
You know what?
Because the girl
can
change the tire. He can't change the tire.
Hey,
will you say the girl ain't no good if she can't cook?
They do say that.
Because I know cook. My mother taught me how to cook. I don't need a woman to talk to me.
Be upset with the Me Too movement come after you. Don't you say she got to be barefoot pregnant in the kitchen?
I didn't say that. Now the thing is, now Freddie, I go with this. It's according to really, every relationship is different. Maybe you require a woman who cooks, or maybe you require a woman who doesn't. Because see, I can cook. But if I don't want to cook, if I want my woman to cook, she can cook. But if I knew she couldn't cook, there's no need for her to go in the kitchen. I'll go in there.
Right, so what do you require? You doing the cooking, you changing the tire, you doing everything. What's she doing? Watching soap operas?
No, she's not watching soap, but why would she watch soap? No, Freddie. Let me ask you this, Freddie. Freddie, I gotta ask you something.
You have no rules. You need to do this.
I gotta ask you something.
You have to do this.
Freddie.
There's not one.
Freddie, let me ask you something. Were you raised by both parents?
Of course.
So you raised by both parents, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's say you're 18, and you saw your dad and mom pull up, right? They just came grocery shopping. Your dad came in, sat down, and said he gotta watch the game. Your mom out there bringing in, let's say they went whatever, and she bringing in all that heavy equipment. Let's say they went to Home Depot, right? And bought a front door. Your daddy went there and sat down and do nothing, but your mom picked up the door out the back of the truck and bring it in the house. What would you say to that?
I would say she's pretty strong. That's pretty strong.
Freddie.
Yeah, all right, Freddie.
Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie. Freddie, you something else.
Open the door and make sure she can get in.
Yeah.
Thank you, Freddie, brother.
Freddie, go ahead, man.
I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you. All right.
Steve.
Mr. Terrell, what's your thoughts?
I think the word that he was really trying to say was a word called interdependent. But in certain situations, it shouldn't be interdependent. And I just disagree with a woman getting out there changing the tire while a man sitting in the car. I disagree with a man with
y'all created
a woman
that narrative,
bringing the grocery in while a man sitting down on the couch. I disagree with that. I mean, that like Tracy said, if she can do it, yes, she can do it, but she wouldn't do it up under my watch.
Exactly.
She wouldn't do it up under my watch. So the word is interdependent. Both parties supposed to really bring to the table and depend on one another. But in certain situations, the woman just sit down and rest.
Okay, cuz.
All right, so are we just speaking on like women you with or women in general?
See, you can't. You
Well,
don't.
and
You know what?
but-
You know what?
and
Chris,
then
don't
they
add no
need-
extra
all right,
nuances
no,
because
no.
they straight down the
Okay,
middle on this one.
That's
You
one
ain't
question,
nothing.
And depending on which way you talking, it's like
If you don't
you know
bring
what I'm
it
saying?
back.
Because it's some women won't even let you do this. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yep.
can see a woman struggling and she won't let
Extremely
you
independent.
because of the
Right.
fact that's how men get in. I
Well,
need to know how to do this
if she
just in case.
if she rejects your help, fine.
Keep moving.
But,
Keep moving.
but-
But on a general.
But you in the car with her and she like, bruh, sit down. I got this.
Like what? Like in what?
I'm finna change my tire. You good?
Oh no.
You just gonna fight with her about changing the tire? Or you gonna just let her
I
do
will.
it?
Well, okay. You know what?
That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
Like
you
these
know
are
what?
real
I get you.
situations.
Now you got a woman like that,
These are real
and
situations.
she insists on changing that tire.
Just like if you
Let her change it.
Thank you,
just say
Kush.
you with your woman and she asks you, man, can you change this?
Hey, but
Can
you
you
know
do
what,
this?
though?
Whatever
Hey, Kevin.
around the house, and you taking your time with it. If she just take the initiative to do it, you gonna be mad at her because she know how to do it. And she
Well,
do
you got
it.
most women will do it after she's asked you 10 times.
So what I'm saying,
Well,
but
I
it don't
think
even
that's-
that's
that's
what
all
I'm
these
saying. If she
extremes.
asks you 10 times a
If
night,
that was
why
your
is it
woman,
such a problem
if that
if
was
she
your
just
woman,
want to
she'll
do it?
start out like that. But
it's-
I mold and shape her to the point where I'm gonna be the one.
But some women really don't like that,
But
bro.
yeah.
A lot of women don't like, cause they're still controlling them. Like, no, you're not finna make me sit here and watch you. I'm
One
gonna be
thing
a
that
part
my
of it.
dad taught me was how to change my own battery, change my own oil, and the tires. And it's not because it's gender specific. It's because if y'all are not around, I know how to do that thing.
Yeah.
So
There you
I'm
go.
okay with that.
But
I will
So
crack
now-
these
now
nails.
Now, I
you know
don't
what I
need
mean?
a man
and do,
for
you know
this.
what I'm saying?
I ain't gotta put up
He's
with this
molded
negative
me
stuff
to be
just
okay.
to get my tire changed in case I get a flat. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I don't mind learning. Just like y'all didn't mind learning how to cook. It ain't like it has to be a
Yeah.
woman or a man.
I don't think that's the issue.
But I'm just saying, y'all gotta speak on. Are you saying like with any woman? Because if I'm just on like on a date, I may slip up on some gentleman. You know?
Well, I mean-
or if I'm with you on a regular, I may forget. Like
Even in a grocery store, I don't know a woman, right?
It's a lot of perfect.
I will open
It's
it
a lot
up.
of perfect people on the panel.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
It's
bruh,
not being-
if you
I-
finna
well,
judge
maybe I was
me,
raised different.
But if you finna judge me about being a good and bad guy about little stuff like that, then like you're not finna ever have a healthy relationship.
No, well, the question was about the shiver, but we threw
Still
the
ain't
word
heard
shiver.
nothing about accountability for the young ladies. Like, how are we
That-
teaching
that-
young ladies to be accountable and hold value and not put young men in dangerous situations just because they exist? Like, I mean, because no one else is gonna talk about it, so I'm gonna talk about
what
it. You
kind
can
of
talk about the
situation?
order, you can talk about opening up doors, this, that, and the third.
Give an example.
But there are a lot. I'm going to give you an example. There are a lot of young ladies out here that simply be based on the foundation, the conversation that we're having, expect men to do everything for them, even though they are willing and able and have a brain and have their own resources. But if you don't do it, then it's a problem. And my thing is this ain't 30, 40, 50 years ago. Things have changed, and we have to account for the way that the culture has shifted by adopting and creating some ideologies across the board that transcend the effect of technology and history. So what we need to do is that I want to have a boy and a girl at the same time, because there's not going to be much difference in how I raise them. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, I'm going to teach them how to, you know what I'm saying, how to be mindful, how to be aware of their surroundings. I'm going to teach them how to be decent human beings. I'm going to teach them how to drive 5 speeds, how to change oil, how to do batteries. You know what I'm saying? How to know how to check your tire pressure, how to cook, how to clean, how to do laundry. That stuff is going to be universal across the board, because when you see that, that's the problem. Like, a lot of brothers get tired of it because they have done that, and the woman has not been taught to see value in that because somebody their whole life has done it for them without explanation. And that's primarily one of the issues that I have as a millennial. When I listen to women, I'm like, okay, so it's not even just a matter of it was your daddy in your life. How did your daddy raise you? Because if your daddy raised you and you didn't have to do anything, that's problematic, because when I have an issue and I need to bring something to your attention, I can't do it because a sense of accountability and responsibility hasn't been instilled in you. You get it simply because you exist, simply because somebody did it for you your entire life. And that's not a partnership.
Because I am the woman on
that's
the
not
panel.
a partnership.
Are you
at
okay
all.
with me asking you a question?
I
Because
don't know. You
heated.
can add no. You ain't saying
But I'm
nobody else get
saying-
heated. Now I get heated when I get singled out with terminologies like that, because everybody else been speaking passionately.
But what I'm saying
So
is,
you can direct it toward the
have
panel.
Have you not met a lot of females that are able to do it on their own and appreciated men?
What I have met is I met a lot of women and men who live on the extreme measures of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. I'm old school. A man's supposed to do this. I'm old school. A woman's supposed to do this. Mm-hmm. We don't live in that day and age anymore. You have to have a level of flexibility when it comes to when it comes to the new millennium. Mm-hmm. We are essentially the people who are going to take the culture and society forward.
But my question was, have you not met a lot of women?
I have met women. I have met a lot.
Are you saying it's more of a percentage that you're saying that we?
I'm not throwing out. I'm not throwing out any arbitrary. I'm not throwing out any arbitrary figures on anything. I'm giving you anecdotal and empirical evidence from my standpoint, and I have experience out here in the dating world. I have extensive experience. So what I'm saying is that all of that stuff is well and good, right? Mm-hmm. But when you do something wrong. Do I gotta go all the way around the world to get you to admit that you're wrong, to say this, for you to say that you're sorry, for you to hold yourself accountable? So let's not act like it ain't just certain women. I'm telling you, it's not just certain women. Women have a hard time with accountability based on the principles and the notions of chivalry is dead. A man's supposed to do this, he's supposed to do that. Okay, well, what are you subscribing to that you can say that you are supposed to do? Mm-hmm. In terms of value, you know what I'm saying, and it ain't just cooking and cleaning, because I can do all that stuff myself.
True. Well, I'll say to your point, do women have a problem being held accountable? In my experience, yes.
Thank you.
A woman could tell a man all day, every day what they do not do right, and all that kind of stuff. But let that man tell you what you did not do correctly.
Cry.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
They shut down. They don't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. But it's not fair for you to say and sit down and tell us what we did not do. Mm-hmm. You're not this. You're not doing that. But when we do our experience and we say they upset. Right, you upset.
Absolutely, and I've heard both sides.
So you can't have it both ways. If you're gonna be woman enough to tell us what we are wrong, how we wrong, then you gotta be woman enough to let us tell you when you're wrong.
You should be open to communicating and growing with your partner. I totally understand, and thank you for talking to me, because I always, and I do this on my show as well, I talk to black men. Long as you are able to talk to me, I'm fine, because I don't really get upset. I don't mind hearing y'all side. I've heard men being cheated on for years, and they've been the good guy, opening up doors, cooking, cleaning, and get treated like trash. It's not cool. And then you have a woman that comes along like myself that try to be supportive. I built small businesses before. I got 2 business degrees. Come on. And if I hear what you got, if I hear what you got going, I'm gonna try to be that support. But it seems like I can say there's a lot of bad guys. Y'all can say there's a lot of bad women, and it sucks when dating. You know what I mean?
And that's the crazy part about it too.
Yeah.
A woman can say all day that there's a shortage of good men out there, but let a man say based on their experience.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's horrible.
That's a shortage of good women.
Yes.
And y'all will have a heart attack.
And see, I'm different because I listen to y'all. I don't like to speak. I want to speak to you, not at y'all. You feel me? Mm-hmm. It has to be an open line of communication, understanding us as a people. Because one thing that we fail at is just not having the right type of communication. Mm-hmm. Let's do that. You feel me?
Tracy.
And I think, I think too, and just listening, in my own opinion, I think relationships are very easy to get into. They're very easy to get into, but I think what I heard a lot of people say that's hard to get into is a partnership.
Come on.
I think that's what a disconnect is. People come into a relationship, and that's when all the BS starts. Oh, your role's supposed to be this, or I want this. You didn't do that. Mm-hmm. But when it is hard to find a partner that you're both working together to move forward instead of pulling against each other. when the partnership, you don't worry too much, get caught up in the roles. Just like we talked about, the changing of the car. If she wants to change the car, hell, if she wants to change the car, okay. I change the tire, okay. But I'm gonna stand out there and help you and pass you the jack. I'm gonna pass you the iron or whatever. I mean, I think we just get so caught up in that it's about a partnership, and I think we fall under the fallacies of a relationship, and that's where we go wrong.
Yeah.
All right. I like what you said, sir. Mr. Terrell, what you thought?
I want to pose a question to music. Define the role of a woman in a structured home. For me,
I don't really care to, respectfully, just because I'm not married and I don't live and I don't live with a woman right now. So I'm still growing and developing my perspective and how I want to go out here in the world. So, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not religious. So I respect your views on it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not a religious being like that, so.
Well, I thought the panel tonight was talking about relationships. That's what I have. I don't have a religion. I have a relationship with someone higher than myself. But let me just drop something on you, say you don't have clarity on it. I believe that the man supposed to be the visionary of the home, or the visionary of the relationship. And as a visionary, he gonna need somebody that's a help me to help the vision come into fruition. Would you agree?
Somewhat.
That's all I got.
All right. So,
that's exactly what Freddie Chico. But anyway, okay.
So, Mr. Laris, come on over here, brother.
Hey, man, how you doing? It's long? Okay. I had a challenging day today, man.
You gonna come over here because she gonna step out. So our lovely coach gotta go.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Love
you.
and
Thank
kisses.
you. Thank you.
Spicy. Ew.
Come on, brother. Thank you.
Charge him, man.
How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good. Good to be here.
So, tell everybody who you are and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, sure. My name's Laris Hodges. I'm host of Beer and a Conversation radio show here on Status Network, Uncut TV. Tuesdays from 8 to 9 p.m. Entrepreneur, philanthropist, and just black man at large, I guess. I don't know.
So, question for you.
Sure.
Do you feel accountability is equal when it comes down to relationship between men and women?
No.
Okay, what's your point?
No, and as sad as it sounds, this is probably gonna be completely different than anything you've ever heard me say. Just with my evolution as a man, I would say that it's so many double standards. It's not equal, but it shouldn't be, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and that's gonna sound probably counterintuitive, right? Because we're constantly looking for fairness, but every time that us as men, we run into failures, we have an opportunity to, if we can fix that situation, fix it. If not, be better prepared for the next one. And we're naturally in a leadership position. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, you kind of get to, I mean, listen, man, I've seen and heard men say all the time, well, look, I'm going to be dealing with different women, or I'm going to deal with two women, and or how many times have we seen women say, well, they do things for us that and forgive us for things that we wouldn't forgive them for. We really do have the opportunity to write our own script. A lot of times the losses that we take are centered around just a lack of confidence and being assertive. So no, it's not going to be, whenever the woman is in a position where she's kind of in a leadership role, I mean, you kind of get what you get with that, and it's nothing wrong with them at all, and they're not bad. They're just not really built to lead. They just, the instability and indecisiveness of their nature itself will lead them in a poor direction. I had a good friend of mine, and I love him, and he called me and told me that his wife, they're having problems in their marriage, and his wife has got into some sort of cult-like ministry that she started following, to the point to where she's kind of disowning her own son. Like, well, if you're going to be living sinful ways, I can't even associate with you. And we're talking about a young man that's in the military that's 20, 21 years old. And we know the fallible nature of every individual, particularly men, especially young men that's trying to find themselves. But when we had this discussion, it's created issues in their relationships with sex and just a number of different things that's going to lead to, most assuredly, some other problems. But the only thing that I could go back to when we had this discussion is that I said, I heard what he said and I believed him. I didn't blame him. I was thankful to hear it because it's a learning experience for me. But the first thing I said was, you know that if you picked the church that y'all went to, you know that this wouldn't be a problem in the first place, right? You know, because the thing is that us as men, when we come into situations or we're in environments where there's ministers or preachers, and I'm not even a big church goer, but I mean, maybe I need to become that. The issue is that we're going to sift out BS kind of off the rip and say, no, you know, so if you're picking, and it goes, it's not just the church, but let's just say if it's a working out issue, if you don't like your girl's weight or she needs to do better, even if she says, like, as a man, your woman go to church, you might be like, I'm not going to church. But I guarantee you this. As a man, if you get up and say, I'm going to church every Sunday, even if she don't start out going, sooner or later, she going to get up and start getting dressed and going with you. If you start going to the gym, sooner or later, she's going to do that. You know what I mean? How many times as men have we laid in the bed with women and we think that they sleep? And then all of a sudden, once we get up in the morning, then they get up. So it's incumbent upon us. It's a call to leadership. Every time we see a deficiency, I'm not trying to be long-winded, so I'll narrow it down. It's an opportunity for us to fine-tune our leadership. And if we don't like what we're dealing with, we can fire them and get somebody else and just say, well, look, from the get-go, this is how things are going to be. That's just my personal opinion.
Tracy, question for you, sir. So,
yes, sir.
So, do you feel that women are able to take accountability the same way they expect accountability from a man, in your experience?
No. I mean, I'll say that, to me, I think a lot of times in my own experience, I think it's more often than not that, women do have difficulties taking some accountability in things that they do. And I think they hold us to a higher standard and more accountability than themselves. I will say that in my own personal experience. But I do think that, as far as just touching on his point about the leadership, I do agree that men or the man in the relationship should be the quote unquote unleader. And I'm gonna put air quotes on that. But I think when we talk about leadership, we talk about different aspects. Because if my woman is a better leader in the finances and she can manage the money better, I'm gonna let her lead in that aspect. Why? Because that would be dumb on my part if I'm not good at finance, not to let her lead that aspect, but to be an overarching leader of our family, relationship, partnership, or whatever. I think that belongs to the man. But, again, back to the question of accountability, I do see a disparity in that, but I think, I don't know the answer to it, to be honest with you. And I listen to music, I listen to Freddie, I listen to everybody talk. I don't know what the answer is to that and how we get to a point where everybody's accountable to their own actions, their deeds, and their roles in their partnership.
All right. Shane, does women take accountability like how they expect men to take accountability?
To a certain extent, no, I don't believe they do. I don't believe they do. On that part, no. Okay. That's my question. No, they don't. I can't go with that. Just no.
Okay. Okay. So, I had a question from a lady, and I wanted to find out: do the men on this panel, do you all have any issues with the woman making more money than you?
Absolutely not. That's Tracy. Absolutely not.
Mr. Terrell, would you have a problem if your wife made more money than you?
I don't.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Laris?
Absolutely not. And I've been fortunate enough to be in situations where I've dated women that have made more money than me. The issue there may be more of our insecurity and less of the money issue itself. But no, I mean, absolutely not. I mean, and in fact, that may or may not be a good thing, because if you're a real alpha male, nothing's going to motivate you more than your woman making more money than you to get out there and try to make more than her.
Shane?
No, I don't have a problem with it. As long as the respect is still there. You know what I'm saying? As long as the woman still respects the man as a man. I don't have a real problem with the woman making more money than a man, as long as she still respects him as a man.
Okay.
She don't want to run the house just because she make more money than him. She feel like she's the head, and the man is the head.
Exactly. Not just the respect issue, like you're saying, brother, but more importantly, even if they still make more money, because I've been in that situation, they're still going to expect you to pay for everything. So it's not like the golden rule with them is that my money is my money and your money is our money. That's not going to change. So I mean, I mean, it to a degree, it's good to know that they have it, but they're going to still be looking to spend your money.
All right, so we had one more question from the ladies that she wanted to know is, it came from a man, I should say. Do women truly know what a good man is?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I concur with that. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Can you expound first?
Well, the main reason why, and I really think that this show should have been centered around how do we instill a sense of accountability in the young people, men and women, but primarily women, because it's going to be impossible if she make more money than you. Oh, she ain't never going to be accountable. You know what I'm saying? Because it's ultimately it's not going to be. There's no incentive. She holds all the cards. You know what I mean? But no. We're in a position right now where we're gonna have to adopt and accept some old school ways, some old school values, and we're gonna have to use some critical thinking and say what is in the best interest in the progression of our race and of our culture as a people. And the way we've been going about it is a little bit antiquated. You know what I'm saying? So I know I'm kind of drifting a little bit.
Go for it.
A little bit from the question, but I'm all for what I'm literally in agreement with what everybody is saying. Like, I see it and I hear it, and I'm cut from that cloth, but I'm boots on the ground. And what I'm seeing is just that overall lack. You know what I'm saying? That lack of communication, that lack of knowing, that lack of self. That I'm seeing a lack of discernment. You know what I mean? Like, that discernment really is your number one defense against a lot of these things that we're talking about in terms of deficiencies. You have to have self-awareness. You have to have that discernment when you're dealing with people. That anxiety, that feeling that you feel, you know what I mean? When you're having a conversation with somebody that, hey, this just isn't it. You know what I mean? But ultimately going back to it, I really think that's where the struggles are. You know what I'm saying? We want to, you know what I'm saying? People want to be heard. People want to be valued. And I think for so long we've adopted a value system that has been lopsided, and it has led us to where we are now.
That's going to be the next question. But, Tracy, do you think women know what a real man is?
I think for the majority, no. And the reason why I say that is because I think they have an idea of what the ideal man is and what a good man is, a fallacy. But I think once they get a man that meets that criteria, especially when they're in a certain age group or a certain maturity level, they don't understand exactly, what it is when they actually see it and get involved with it, if you understand what I'm saying. I think, they'll say, well, I want this, and this. You could get that, but it might not be quite in the package that you were looking for, and they would turn away. You know what I'm saying? And I think, but I think with age, I think with the maturity of a woman, I think those change over time. But and it all depends on the woman as well too. I'm not saying because you're 21, you're not mature enough to pick a good man, but it's a rarity. I will tell you that. But on the flip side of that, I think for men, I think a lot of men don't know a good woman when they see one too, and they have one in their lives. And what is once over, hindsight 2020 kicks in, and like, man, that was a good woman. But then you know what I'm saying. So I think it's on both sides of the house.
I've always heard that a good man is hard to find, but I ain't never heard that a good woman is hard to find. And not to say that's not the reality, but that's the sentiment. This is how this is the rhetoric that we breed into our people as they're becoming adults and as they're starting to date and look for mates. You know what I mean? Like, oh, a good man is hard to find, but then when you see one, he ain't 6 foot. He 5'9". He's dismissed. Oh, I found a good woman, but her body ain't, you know what I'm saying? She don't have the Nicki Minaj booty, so she's dismissed. And this is what I've been speaking about. Value, assessment, and accountability. When we approach these concepts with patience and grace, I feel like the culture will move forward collectively.
One last question. I'm gonna let Laris start off with this one. When we have conversations, do you feel that that men are being heard in relationships or not? Laris.
I think that it's like anything else with men. It becomes a wisdom thing, like, and it actually works both ways, but we're held to a different standard. There's that double standard thing again. I think that with time, I think people hear what you say, but it takes time for it to resonate, right? Like implementation. And that's all of us, if we be honest with ourselves. But we have to, if we're confident in ourselves, then you know that once you send something out and you plant a seed, you know, you may or may not get the fruit of that seed the next day. But with time, it's going to resonate. What that confidence allows you to do is, from a man's standpoint, it allows you to pull away. Like your power, because women value attention and all of these other things and hyper reactions. When you're calm and you can say, well, you know what? I've seen so many times that I've gotten further in a disagreement by just saying, you know what? I feel where you're coming from, but maybe this just ain't gonna work out, okay? But I hear you, and you know what I'm saying. You spot on what you're saying, and the reaction, even if the ripple effect is a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks to that, it's much more powerful than trying to tattoo that into a woman's brain.
Okay.
You know, and so that's where our power is, because they value attention, especially if you're good at what you do, and when you come in, you know how to be attentive. You know how to be directive, how to be respectful, and at the same time how to be a leader. You're gonna get a lot further with that. But I think that when we say being heard, yes, you'll be heard, but it really just depends on how confident you are that you've been heard, and are you looking for there to be an immediate return on investment of your word. Like if you have an argument on or a disagreement on Monday night, and you're looking for there to be some sort of change demonstrated in her on Tuesday, then I think every man here is old enough to know, wise enough and experienced enough to know that's not going to happen. But when you move with confidence, you can withdraw, and you can say, well, okay, I get it, no big deal, and you can be calm, and I guarantee you they're going to come back around. Even if they don't, just the way that you respond to disagreement in itself, even if they haven't figured out quite yet what you were saying, if you're able to maintain being calm and kind of just withdraw or whatever, they're going to come around.
Mr. Terrell, what's your thoughts?
No, I just want to commend music, man. You're pretty sharp. I've been listening to you. I know you feel as though we might came across abrasive, but you're pretty sharp. I've been sitting right here dissecting you. You're pretty sharp.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
So we're going to the tail end of the last 5 minutes. So what I want to do is, first of all, thank you all for being part of the show. Tracy is in a group together called the Wealthy Collective, and so It's 4 men plus we got a great young lady behind us, and we've been doing like empowerment seminars, and we did one in Atlanta, and we also did one in South Carolina. So we're gonna be in DC in May, and so part of it we're gonna talk a lot about these type of things with men. And so what we're gonna do is we do the men's roundtable once a month. So Tracy's gonna be with us every month until we get to May, and so that way we can get the exposure for what we're about to start doing and all that. So for all the guys that's been watching, can y'all please go on Facebook and join the Forum of Kings group page so we can stay together as a community and try to uplift each other as men. With that being said, I heard you. So this is March. So for April's men's roundtable discussion, I'm going to make sure I have millennials, Gen X, and baby boomers all present, and we're going to talk about accountability across the board, not just us as men, but also raising our kids and daughters, having the ladies in our lives accountable for their actions. Right. And I think I heard you, so that's gonna be the topic. So get your minds together. And so when I get a date, I'll shoot y'all a date of that. Tracy, tell everybody about your new online store, the type of T-shirts that you're selling, and all that good stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Today is the grand opening of the United Crowns collection. And I created the collection just to be a celebration and a unification and to teach about our immaculate Black culture. Not just Black American culture, but Black culture all around the world. It's just so tremendous, all the things that we've done as a people across this world. So all the shirts should be a walking billboard of that. And I have all different types of stuff for the men, the women, the children. I have accessories as well, too. So please take a look at united-crowns.com. And go on, check that out, check out the site, and I hope you find something that you like. If you don't find anything that you like, let me know, and I'll get that drafted up for you and put it online for you. But appreciate that plug there, Kevin.
No problem. Monk, tell everybody about your bracelets.
All right, so I'm a leather craftsman. I create leather cuffs and bracelets, unisex styles, men and women. They've been taken off. I take special orders. You can hit me at Music Monk ATL on Instagram. Give me a holler. Let me know. I'll make the custom cuff for you. Send it out. Just post a picture of it when you get it and shout me out, man, and we're going to keep this thing going. But I also want to say I appreciate everyone's opinion. I love the diversity of thought. One thing I don't like is groupthink. So I like the fact that everybody had their own perspective, had their own credo that they were standing on, you know what I mean, in terms of articulating their points. And that's what debate is about. Debate can be a little bit uncomfortable at times, but the end result is to push us forward and for everyone to have a great understanding. So I appreciate that from everyone, and as always, I appreciate you for having me on the show.
So before I get to you, Shane, I will say this: I'm gonna send this to my father tomorrow. So he's a 78-year-old man. He's gonna watch this show. And even though it got tense at times, he's going to love it because he's going to see Black men having conversations, to be able to, intellectual conversation, to be able to agree to disagree. There was no profanity. There was nothing disrespectful by no one. So that's what he's going to respect as a man, that he feels this type of conversation is much needed, because it shows different viewpoints from Black men. And to show that we all think differently, but we're all on the same page to a certain extent. So with that being said, Mr. Spin Instructor, how can they find you if they want to get a good workout in?
Well, you can always follow me on Facebook, Shane Harrell. On Facebook, I'm always teaching at Decatur and Panola Road. That's Lithonia, Georgia. So just Tuesday through Sunday, I'm spinning. So you want to get in shape, holler at me, Shane Harrell, I got you.
Mr. Wiggins.
Yes, sir.
Can
Yeah, Facebook, you can find me, LarisHodges. I got so many different things going on. If you go to my Facebook page, if you have Facebook, you can find me. You can see a lot of what I'm into. Or you can go to A Beer and a Conversation 1 and on Instagram, A Beer and a Conversation 1 on Instagram. And you can kind of see a lot of what I'm into. We're doing radio, transportation, logistics, a whole lot of different things. So feel free to check me out.
Mr. Terrell, what can everybody? What's your final thought, or what you want us to know?
Man, I enjoyed myself. I really gained a lot of stuff. I got some impartations tonight. Don't think because I was come back and it may seem like I was come back, but I really did grab some. Tracy, you made some very valid points. My man, I don't know his name that just came in. He made some very valid points, and even the brother right there, he was brutally honest with his Shane. Very straightforward, man. I enjoyed myself tonight, and so until we meet again, man, I'm looking forward to what y'all doing. I'm gonna go on United Crowns and see if I can get something from you too, bro.
All right, appreciate that.
Thank you. So with that being said, for me, May, well, I will be with Tracy, and we're gonna do some things to empower our men as we try to elevate ourselves to be a better community, better leaders, as you said, better thought leaders, better fathers, better husbands, is better men all the way around. That's our mission. That's our purpose. That's why I use this platform. So I look forward to having Tracy on every month with me, Monk, Laris, and you for sure.
Now Tracy is in Carolina.
He's in Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so just to have a melting pot of men with different thought patterns and beliefs to have conversations, so we could change the narrative of how mainstream media and society has labeled us as black men, and it can show that we all are very intelligent men. We have opinions, but we also are able to have great dialogue and not be disrespectful at the same time. So I appreciate all you guys giving your comments and your feedback. Till next time, be great, be authentic, and be yourself. We are out. Peace.
All right. Peace.
All right, take care.
Thank you, guys.